Welcome to the channel. Today, I'm here again to tell you more horror stories. Please comment what you want and subscribe. Let's go. Look, I don't even know where to start with this, but I need to get it off my chest. My name is Maria Elena. I'm a single mom to 3 kids, Carlos, who's 8 years old, Sophia, who is 12, and Daniel, who's 14, and we live in a simple one-story house in a quiet neighborhood near Querétaro. We moved here about 2 months ago because the rent was cheaper and I needed a bigger place for the kids. At first, everything was fine. The house is old, but it's neat, with a long hallway connecting the bedrooms to the living room. Even happy to finally have a little spot that felt like ours. But over the past few weeks, things have started getting weird, like really weird. My kids started talking about stuff that's left me with a knot in my chest. I don't know if it's just their imagination or if there's something wrong here. I'm not the type to believe in ghost stories, but it's getting hard to ignore what's happening. So I'm going to tell you everything just as it happened, the way I experienced it. The first time I heard something out of the ordinary was on a weeknight, about 2 weeks after we moved in. I was exhausted. I'd worked all day at the convenience store and still made dinner for the kids. After putting Carlos to bed, I went to check on Sophia and Daniel, who were in their room doing homework. Sophia looked at me with a kind of scared face and said she'd seen a woman at the end of the hallway. I asked who it was, thinking it was a joke, but she swore it was a woman in an old dress, just standing there, not moving. Daniel, who's older and usually doesn't get into this kind of stuff, backed her up, saying he saw her too. I didn't know how to react, but I tried not to show I was worried. I told them it must be just tiredness, that maybe they daydreamed it. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. The next day, Carlos, my youngest, came to me crying. In the morning, saying the lady was looking at him during the night. He described her perfectly. A woman in a faded dress, gray hair tied back, standing in the hallway. When he said that, my heart skipped a beat because it sounded a lot like my mom, who passed away about 5 years ago. I didn't tell the kids. The description matched because I didn't want to scare them even more. I tried to calm Carlos down, told him it was just a nightmare, but he insisted he wasn't asleep. I thought about it all day, not knowing what to do. Could they be missing their grandma and making this up? Didn't make sense, but it was the only explanation I could come up with. I spent a few days trying to ignore it, thinking it'd pass, that it was just a phase. But then I started noticing things getting even stranger. One night I was lying in my room late at night trying to sleep when I heard soft footsteps outside my door. It sounded like someone walking slowly down the hallway, but I knew the kids were asleep. I got up, opened the door with my heart pounding, but there was no one there. The hallway was empty, just the faint light of the bulb flickering a little. I checked the kids' rooms, and they were all asleep, nice and quiet. I went back to my room, but I couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. That really unsettled me because there was no way it could be just my imagination. After that, I started noticing weird things with objects around the house. I've got an old family photo from when my mom was still alive that I keep on the living room shelf. One day, I got home from work, and the photo was on the floor next to the dining table. No one touched it. The kids swore they didn't mess with it, and I know I didn't knock it down. Another time, a necklace that belonged to my mom, which I keep in a little box in my room, showed up on top of Daniel's dresser. I'd never take it out of there. It's too important to me. I started feeling this heaviness in my chest, like something wasn't right. I didn't want to believe in anything supernatural, but it was getting hard to explain these things. I talked to a neighbor, Donna Clara, who's lived next door for years, to see if she knew anything about the house. She was quiet at first, but then she told me the previous tenant, an elderly lady, died right here in the house, all alone. She said no one really knows what happened, just that they took her body away and left a lot of her stuff behind. I got chills when I heard that because there are still some old boxes in the basement that the landlord hasn't removed. Donna Clara didn't want to say more, just told me to be careful. I don't know if she believes in something supernatural. Those words stuck with me. Meanwhile, the kids were getting more and more scared. Sophia stopped sleeping alone, started asking to stay in my room at night. She said the woman was appearing, closer now, not just in the hallway, but in the corner of her room. Daniel, who's always been the bravest, admitted he saw the figure once too, standing by his bed. He didn't want to talk much, just said he couldn't look her in the eyes. Carlos was crying almost every night, saying he wanted to leave. I was getting desperate because I didn't know how to help my kids. I didn't have the money to move out so soon. The landlord wouldn't believe this story. One night, I decided to stay awake on purpose, to see if I could catch something. I sat on my bed, with the door to my room slightly open, just listening. To the silence of the house, around 2 in the morning, I heard those soft footsteps again, like someone walking barefoot down the hallway. My heart was racing, but I gathered my courage and got up. I opened the door slowly, trying not to make noise, but the hallway was empty again. Only this time I felt a colder breeze, like a draft, but all the windows were closed. I can't explain it, but it felt like something was there, even if I couldn't see anything. The next day, I decided to go through the boxes in the basement to see if I could find anything that explained this. I went down with a flashlight, because the light down there is weak, and started opening the boxes. There was a bunch of old stuff, moldy clothes, papers, and some broken objects. In one of the boxes, I found an old portrait of a woman I didn't recognize, but she looked like the description the kids gave. My stomach turned because her dress was similar to what they mentioned. I don't know if it was just a coincidence, but I grabbed the photo and ran upstairs. Didn't want to be down there for one more second. I told the kids what I found, but without showing them the photo so I wouldn't scare them more. Daniel said we should burn everything that belonged to the old owner, that maybe it would fix things. Sophia just cried, said she didn't want to sleep in the house anymore. I was lost because I didn't know if I believed in this or if it was. All in our heads. But the truth is, I was scared too. I started praying more, asking for protection for my kids, because I didn't know what else to do. I put some rosaries in the rooms like my mom used to, but I don't know if that helps. Things didn't stop. They just seemed to get more intense. One night, Sophia woke up screaming, saying the woman was by her bed, staring at her. I ran to her room, but there was no one there, just her shaking and crying. I tried to calm her down, but she kept repeating that the woman looked like she wanted to say something. Carlos heard the scream and started crying too, and Daniel just stayed quiet, pale. I spent the whole night with them in my room, with the door locked. I didn't sleep at all, just kept thinking about what this could be. Was it the old tenant? Or something pretending to be someone familiar to get close to us? Those thoughts gave me chills. I started noticing the kids were different, quieter, like something had taken their joy away. Carlos stopped playing in the HL. Yard Sophia didn't want to leave my side, and Daniel stayed locked in his room, not talking much. I felt guilty, like I'd brought them to a dangerous place. I didn't know what to do because moving out wasn't an option right now. I tried talking to the landlord, but he laughed, said it was nonsense, that there was nothing wrong with the house. I got even more frustrated because it felt like no one took what we were going through seriously. I decided to call a priest from the nearby church to see if he could bless the house. He came on a Saturday afternoon, a kind man, but with a serious expression. He asked what was going on, and I told him everything, from the footsteps to the kids' visions. He didn't laugh, just listened carefully and said he'd do a special prayer. He went through every room, sprinkling holy water and praying quietly. When he finished, he told me to have faith, but also to watch if anything changed. No, if I believed that would fix it, but I felt a little more relieved. At least someone had listened to me without thinking I was crazy. In the days that followed, it seemed like things were calmer, or at least I wanted to believe that. I didn't hear footsteps at night anymore, and the kids didn't mention the woman for a few days. I thought maybe the blessing had worked, or maybe we were just more at ease because we'd done something. But one night while I was washing dishes, I heard a noise coming from the hallway, like something falling. I ran to see, and the same family photo was on the floor again, but now, the glass in the frame was cracked. My heart sank because it felt like a sign that nothing had changed. I didn't tell the kids, just put the photo in a drawer. But I felt this heavy weight. Now things are at a point where I don't know what to think anymore. There are still nights when I hear noises, but I don't have the courage to go look. The kids still mention the woman sometimes, though less like they're trying to forget. I'm trying to save up money to move, but it's hard with the bills and work. I feel like there's something in this house, something that doesn't want us here, or maybe wants something from us. I don't know if it's the old tenant or something else, but it feels like it's always nearby. I'm exhausted, but I can't give up for my kids' sake. I just want them to be okay, even if I don't understand what's happening. I talked to Dona Clara again, and she said the old tenant had a daughter who disappeared a long time ago. I don't know if that's related, but she said the lady used to spend hours talking to herself, like someone was with her. I wondered if that explains anything, or if it's just another story. Honestly, I don't know if I want to know more. I just want to protect my kids, but it's hard to know how when I don't understand what's going on. Sometimes I think I'm going crazy, but the kids see the same things. I thought about looking for someone who understands this stuff. It's like a medium or someone who deals with these things. But I'm scared of making it worse or getting scammed. My brother, who lives far away, told me to stop thinking about it, that it's just stress, but he's not here to see what we're going through. I'm torn between wanting answers and just wanting to run away. I don't know what this presence wants, if it's even real. All I know is that every night I go to sleep with a lump in my throat, waiting to hear something again. In the meantime, I try to keep the routine going. Take the kids to school, make dinner, as if nothing's wrong. But deep down, I'm always on edge, looking into the corners, expecting to see something I don't want to. Sometimes I feel like someone's watching me, but when I turn, there's nothing there. I don't know if it's paranoia or if it's real. All I know is that this house doesn't feel like a home anymore. It feels like a place holding something I can't understand. I'm trying to be strong, but it's getting harder and harder. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm writing this as a way to let it out because I can't keep it all inside anymore. Maybe one day I'll find out what's behind this, or maybe we'll manage to get out of here before something worse happens. For now, I'm just taking it one day at a time, with my eyes wide open and a heavy heart. If anyone's been through something like this, I'd like to know how they handled it, because I'm lost. I don't know if this will end, or if it'll get worse before it gets better. I want to believe it's just in our heads, that all of this is just sadness or stress from the move. But deep down, I feel like it's not just that. There's something in this house, something I can't explain, and it feels like it knows us somehow. I don't know if I'll get answers, and maybe it's better that way. I just hope my kids don't suffer because of this. I'm praying every day, asking that. Whatever it is, it leaves us in peace. But so far, I don't know if anyone's listening. Hey man, I gotta tell you about something that's been going on with me at the flea market where I work. My name's Juan Carlos. I'm 38 years old, and I sell secondhand clothes and old electronics at a market in a working class neighborhood in Mexico City. Asterisk, it's a crazy busy place, packed with people, smells of street food, and noise everywhere. I've been at this for a few years now, trying to scrape together some cash to pay the bills. It ain't easy, but we get by. But for the past few weeks, something's been happening that's got my head spinning. I don't even know how to explain it right, but I'll try. It's about this old lady who keeps showing up at my stall and a cracked mirror I'm selling. Seriously, it's keeping me up at night. Here's the deal. Every Saturday, I set up my stall real early, around 6 in the morning, to catch the crowd. The market's wild, got everything. Fruits, spices, clothes, tools. I'm in this tight little corner with some beat-up tarps to block the sun. By the end of the day, I'm wiped out, just want to pack up and go. It was on one of those days, about 3 weeks back, that I saw her for the first time. This skinny old lady, wearing a black shawl over her shoulders, just standing near my stall. She didn't buy anything, just kept staring at this cracked mirror I got in a batch of junk. It was almost closing time, the sun was going down. She stood there, quiet, for a good few minutes, glancing at me from the corner of her eye. I thought it was weird, but I didn't say anything. The next week, can you believe she came back? Same thing. At the end of the day, right when I was about to break everything down, I was folding some t-shirts when I spotted her again, staring at the mirror. This time she mumbled something under her breath, like you see what's behind. I didn't catch it clear, and when I looked up to ask her, she'd already disappeared into the crowd. I kept thinking about it, but figured she was just some confused old lady, you know? At the market, you get all kinds of folks. But it didn't stop there. No way. Every week on Saturdays, she shows up, always at dusk. Says weird stuff and then vanishes. I started feeling real uneasy about it. After the third time she came by, I started having bad nights. I can't sleep right. Feels like someone's watching me. I live in a small room, close to the market, and I lock everything up tight. And even so, I wake up in the middle of the night, sweating, heart racing. It's an awful feeling, like there's something there in the dark. In the morning, when I check my stuff, I see new scratches on the mirror. I swear there was nothing there before, and I keep it in a locked box. I got no clue how it happens. I started thinking there's something wrong with that mirror. Or with me. The other vendors started talking about this old lady, a guy who sells fruit. Miguel told me her name's Donna Lucretia. He said she's been showing up at the market for decades, even after she supposedly died. Yeah, died. They say she's always looking for objects tied to loss, like stuff from people who've passed. At first I didn't buy it, thought it was just nonsense. What? But then Miguel gave me this serious look and told me to be careful. I didn't say anything, but it got to me. Here at the market, everyone believes these stories. Now, I'm starting to think there might be some truth to it. Worst part is, that's not all, you know? I started noticing customers are avoiding my stall. Before I'd sell at least a few shirts and some busted headphones a day. Now it's like no one wants to come near. They walk by, look from a distance, and keep going. One lady even said she felt something heavy near my spot. I didn't know what to say, just forced a smile. I'm losing money, and it's got me desperate. Rent don't wait, right? I'm thinking of getting rid of that mirror, but something's holding me back. It's like I need to figure out what's going on. One night this week, something happened. That freaked me out even more. I was alone in my little room, sorting stuff to take to the market the next day. I grabbed the mirror to clean it because it was all dusty. When I looked at the reflection, I swear I saw a face that wasn't mine. Just for a second, but it was someone else, with deep-set eyes, staring right at me. I dropped the mirror right away, shaking all over. I don't know if it was my imagination or just exhaustion, but it felt too real. I sat on my bed, staring at the walls, too scared to touch it again. What the hell's going on? Every day I wake up thinking about this. Is it just in my head? Is there really something off with this mirror and this Donna Lucretia? I'm not one to believe in ghost stories. Always thought they were made up. But now, I don't know what to think. I'm avoiding looking at the mirror for too long, but I still haven't gotten rid of it. Feels like it's got a hold on me. Somehow, I'm scared to bring it back to the market, but I don't want to keep it at home either. It's a no-win situation. All I know is I'm not okay. I feel this weight I can't explain. I talked to a buddy of mine, Roberto, who also sells at the market, but tools. He said I should throw the mirror out or get someone to bless it. Around here, there are some women who do that, pray and clear bad vibes. I don't know if I believe in that, but I'm close to asking for help. He looked at me all worried and said he's heard of this Donna Lucretia before. He's told me she shows up to folks carrying something they shouldn't. I stayed quiet, but that just made it worse in my head. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. Is this all just coincidence? Thought about stopping selling at the market for a few days, but I can't. I need the cash. Bills don't stop coming. My daughter needs school supplies, and I can't let her down. So even with this bad feeling, I set up my stall every Saturday. I try to ignore the mirror, keep it covered with a cloth, but I feel people's stares, like they know something. I don't. And if the old lady shows up again, what do I do? Just thinking about it gets me nervous. I'm taking it one day at a time. Don't know how long I can keep this up. The market's got its forgotten corners, you know? Alleys no one goes down, piles of trash, abandoned stalls. I always thought it was just neglect, but now I see it different. What if there's something there? Something hiding, waiting. Walk by those spots every day, and now it feels like I'm being watched. Before, I'd laugh at people talking about spirits or whatever. Now, I don't find it funny anymore. Starting to realize there are stories in this market I never took seriously. I think I'm caught up in one. of them. Don't know how I get out of this. Just yesterday, regular customer, Mrs. Maria, who always bought clothes for her granddaughter, passed by my stall. She looked at the spot where the mirror is, even though it's covered, and made the sign of the cross. Didn't say a word, just shook her head and left. I didn't know what to do, just watched her walk away. What did she see or feel to do that? Does everyone know something I don't? I'm feeling more and more alone here. Feels like I'm carrying a weight that ain't mine. Can't even explain it right. All I know is it's tough to deal with. Trying to remember how this mirror ended up with me. I bought it in a lot of used stuff from a guy who just wanted to get rid of junk. He didn't say anything special, just wanted the money quick. Does this mirror have a story I don't know? Did it belong to someone who went through something bad? I don't know, but I'm starting to think objects carry stuff, you know? Stuff we don't see, but feel. I'm scared to find out where this mirror came from. But at the same time, I think I need to know. Will that help me get free of this? Mom, who lives far away, called me yesterday and asked if I'm okay. I didn't tell her anything. Don't want to worry her. Just said I'm tired from work, the usual. But she pushed. Said she dreamed of me. And I was lost in a dark place. It went quiet on the other end of the line, not knowing what to say. Did she sense something? Here in Mexico, we grow up hearing dreams mean something. I didn't want to believe it, but now it's stuck in my head. I feel more and more trapped in this story. Don't know how to get out. Is there even a way? Writing this down like it's a way to vent, you know? Don't know if anyone's gonna believe me, but I had to get it out. Every day I look at the mirror and think about tossing it or selling it to the first person who comes by. But something stops me. Like I gotta figure this out first. Is it Dona Lucretia holding me back? Or is it me wanting to understand what's happening? I don't know. All I know is I'm not at peace. I'm scared of what might happen if I keep this, or if I get rid of it. Both options scare me. Don't know which is worse. Next Saturday, I'm gonna try to talk to the old lady if she shows up again. I wanna ask her what she wants, why she's after this mirror, but just thinking about it makes me nervous. What if she says something I don't want to hear, or if she ain't who I think she is? Here at the market, stories spread like wildfire, and I'm starting to believe them. Don't know if I'll have the guts to face her. Maybe I should just dump the mirror in the trash and pretend nothing happened. But something tells me it won't be that easy. I'm stuck in this, man. I'm really scared. Meanwhile, the scratches on the mirror keep showing up. Every morning, there's something new. Thin lines, like someone dragged their nails across it. I clean it, but the next day they're back. I can't explain it, and I don't want to think too much about it. I'm trying to convince myself it's just my imagination, or maybe some critter in my place. But deep down, I know it ain't that. There's something wrong, something I don't get. I'm living with this burden day after day. Don't know how long I can take it. Has anyone else gone through something like this? The market's always been my way to make a living, but now it feels like a place that's trapping me. Before I saw those crowded streets as a place full of life, of hustle. Now I see shadows in every corner, in every suspicious glance. I don't know if it's paranoia or if there's really something after me. All I know is I don't feel safe there anymore. I'm thinking of switching spots, trying another market. But what if this follows me? I don't know what to do. I'm lost in all this. Will this ever end? Or am I doomed to carry this? For now, I'm keeping on, one day at a time. I don't tell anyone at the market, because I don't want them thinking I'm crazy. The looks. I get her enough already. I'm keeping this to myself, and now to you, hearing this story. I don't know what the next part of this is going to be. If Dona Lucretia shows up again, if the mirror shows something worse. All I know is I'm in the middle of something I don't understand, and it's got me scared in a way I can't put into words. If you've got any advice, let me know. Need it. Who knows what's coming next? Hey, good night. I need to get something off my chest about what happened to me a little while back during a university geology field trip in the Sonora Desert. I'm Ana Laura, a third-year student, and I've always liked these field trips. But this time was different, honestly. We went with Professor Raul Sanchez and a group of other students to a really remote area near a dried-up riverbed. The plan was to camp there for 7 days, studying rock formations and collecting samples. We got there on a super hot afternoon, the kind of heat that just burns right through you, and set up camp. Everything seemed calm, just the sound of the wind and the unbearable heat. I was pretty excited, taking pictures of the rocks and jotting down notes in my notebook. But from the first night, I started noticing something weird. When everyone was quiet, you could hear this low hum in the wind, almost like distorted voices. At first, I figured it was just exhaustion or the wind passing through some rock formation. I mean, the desert makes some weird noises, right? But it wasn't just me. The next morning, while we were having breakfast, two of my classmates, Pedro and Mariana, mentioned they'd heard something similar too. Mariana even joked that it sounded like someone whispering, but nobody really laughed. The day went on as usual, with us walking under the scorching sun, measuring stuff, and collecting data. But around midday, I started feeling uneasy. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like someone was watching me. When I looked around, though, there was nothing but empty desert. Professor Roll was busy explaining about sediments, so I didn't say anything. I saw Pedro turn his head real quick, like he'd caught something out of the corner of his eye. When I asked him about it, he just shrugged and said the heat was messing with his head. Over the next few days, that uneasy feeling just kept getting worse. The hum in the wind got clearer at night, almost like there were words I couldn't quite make out. One time, I swear I heard my name, but it was so faint I thought I was imagining things. Others in the group started mentioning weird stuff too. Clara, who's always got her camera with her, said she saw some shadowy, human-like figures at the edge of the camp, always when the sun was at its harshest. But every time someone went to check, there was nothing there. The professor tried to reassure us, saying it was just the desert playing tricks on our minds. I wanted to believe him, but I couldn't. Something felt off, like a tension in the air that wouldn't go away. One night, it was my turn to keep watch at the camp. I had to stay awake to make sure nothing happened or no animals came around. Everyone else was asleep in their tents, and the silence was heavy, only broken by that weird hum again. I grabbed my flashlight and started walking around a bit more to keep myself occupied than anything else. That's when I saw something. On the ground, near some rocks, tracks in the sand, way too big to be from anyone in our group, and kind of uneven, like whoever made them didn't walk right. My heart started racing right away, but I didn't want to wake anyone up. I just stared at those tracks, which led toward an old abandoned shepherd's shack about 200 yards away. That shack was all beat up, totally deserted, and we hadn't even gone over there yet. The next day, I told the professor and the others about the tracks. Raul decided we should check out the shack, but when we got there, the marks were gone, like the wind had wiped them away. The shack was empty, just some old wood and dust, but I couldn't stop thinking about those tracks. As we headed back to camp, our equipment started acting up. The professor's GPS stopped working out of nowhere, and the radio just picked up. Static, even with a fresh battery. Everyone was getting more on edge, and the hum in the wind seemed louder, more persistent. I didn't know if it was all in my head, but I swear it felt closer. Almost like it was coming from right behind my tent. There was a day when we went to a nearby village to buy water and supplies. While we were talking with some locals, an older man overheard us mentioning the sounds and shadows. He got real serious real fast and told us about something called El Susurrador. He said it was a presence that shows up during droughts, mimicking the voices of lost travelers to lure people away from safety. We kind of laughed it off a little awkwardly, but the way he looked at us made me uneasy. He wasn't joking, you could tell from his face. When we got back to camp, nobody said much about it, but I know we were all thinking about that story. I couldn't get it out of my head. The nights after that were the worst. The hum wouldn't stop, and it seemed like more and more people were hearing things. Mariana said she heard someone calling her from out in the desert, but she didn't have the nerve to go look. Pedro, who's the biggest skeptic in the group, started sleeping with his flashlight on inside his tent. I couldn't rest either, always waking up feeling like someone was outside. One time I got up in the middle of the night, and I swear, I saw a shadow moving near the shack, but when I grabbed my flashlight, there was nothing there. My heart was pounding, and I went back to my tent, almost running. I didn't tell anyone, because everyone was already freaked out enough. The professor tried to keep us focused on the work, but you could tell he was worried too. He started checking the camp all the time, like he wanted to make sure everything was okay. The The days felt endless with that punishing sun and the constant feeling that something was watching us. At night, it was worse, because the desert got so quiet that any little noise sounded huge. The hum never stopped, and sometimes it felt so close I thought it was coming from inside the camp. I didn't know anymore what was real and what was. My mind playing tricks on me. I just wanted the week to be over so we could leave. On the second to last day, things got even weirder. We woke up and found marks around the camp, like something had walked in a circle while we slept. They weren't clear tracks like the ones I'd seen before, or like scratches in the sand, as if something heavy had been dragged. The professor said it might have been the wind, but nobody really bought that. Clara tried to take pictures, but her camera stopped working out of nowhere. We were all on edge and we decided we wouldn't leave the camp at night anymore, not even for watch duty. We stayed together, talking quietly like that would protect us from something. On the last night, I barely slept. The hum was so loud, it felt like it was going to split my head open. I was lying in my tent, eyes wide open, just listening. Suddenly, I heard a different sound, like an actual whisper, real close to the entrance of my tent. My blood ran cold, and I couldn't move for a few seconds. I grabbed my flashlight with a shaky hand and pointed it outside, but there was nothing there. The whisper stopped as soon as I turned on the light, but I knew I'd heard something. I stayed awake until sunrise, my heart in my throat. I didn't tell the others, not wanting to scare them even more. When the day 2 pack-up camp finally came, we were all relieved. We gathered everything as fast as we could, not talking much. I just wanted to get out of there, leave that place behind. As we loaded stuff into the car, I looked at the shack one last time. I swear I saw something move inside, but I didn't say a word. Maybe it was just the wind moving things, or maybe my head was so tired I was seeing stuff that wasn't there. All I know is I got in the car and didn't look back. The professor drove fast, like he wanted to forget everything too. Nobody said much on the way back. When we got back to the university, everyone just went their separate ways. I tried talking about what happened with Mariana, but she just shook her head and said she didn't want to think about it. The professor submitted the expedition report, but he didn't mention anything about the sounds or shadows.
I think he
Wanted to let it go too. I don't even know what to think myself. I try to convince myself it was just the isolation and the heat messing with us, but deep down I can't believe that. Those tracks, the hum, the whisper, didn't seem like something in our heads. There was something there, something we don't understand. Even now, I can't hear a strong wind without thinking of that night in my tent. I try not to dwell on it, but sometimes when I'm alone I wonder what that was. Was it really El Susurrador, like the old man in the village said? Or was it just the desert messing with us? I don't know, and I don't think I ever will. All I know is I don't want to go back to that place ever again. It was one of the weirdest experiences of my life, and I can't get it out of my head. If you've ever heard of something like this, let me know, because I'm still trying to make sense of what I went through. I still think about the pictures Clara tried to take that didn't work. Was there something in those images we weren't supposed to see? Or was it just bad equipment? I don't know, but it's got me wondering. I try to focus on school, on classes, but sometimes I catch myself staring out the window like I'm expecting to hear that hum again. I know it's crazy, but I can't help it. That expedition left a mark on me in a way I didn't expect. I talked to Pedro the other day, and he said he doesn't feel comfortable in really deserted places anymore either. He didn't go into details, just said he prefers sticking to urban areas for now. I think each of us took something away from that experience, something we can't explain. It's not exactly fear, more like a feeling that there are things out there we don't understand, things maybe we're better off leaving alone. I don't know if you believe in this kind of stuff, but I lived it. I'm trying to move on. Let's focus on exams and the next field trips, but every time I hear about the Sonora desert, something inside me tightens up. I wish I had answers to know what that sound was, what those shadows were, but I don't think I will. Maybe it's better that way. I don't know. I just wanted to vent, get this out, because keeping it to myself was weighing me down. You've got anything to say? Or if you've been through something similar, let me know. As I'm writing this, I'm at home with the fan on, and the sound of it kind of reminds me of that hum. I know it's silly that I'm safe here, but I still get a little on edge, try to laugh at myself, think it's just in my head. But deep down, I know I went through something that wasn't normal. I don't expect you to believe me. I just wanted to share. Maybe that'll help me forget a little now. Every time I watch a documentary about the desert or read something about local legends, I think about that week. What was it? Something real? Or just us scaring ourselves for no reason? I've got no way of knowing, and maybe I never will. All I know is, for now, I'm going to avoid really isolated places.